Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Denise Mika Hutchins and I'm broadcasting to you from Studio Mikarts. Our charity of the month is Food Empowerment Project, and you can help me, help them, help the animals by donating to our fundraiser here on Twitch, visiting their website, which I posted in the chat, or simply by watching my streams and bringing your friends, because I'll be making my own donation at the end of the month based on my unique viewers count. If you enjoyed today's stream, please support my creative work by becoming a Twitch subscriber, which will remove ads and get you some cute emotes, joining my Patreon to get illustrated postcards and prints in the mail, or by sending me some creative fuel through Buy Me a Coffee. Links to all of these are in my Twitch About section or in the YouTube description if you're watching the recording. Today is Friday, which means it's time for some fun with Chibi Friday, and I am starting a new Chibi caricature. This one is going to be another memorial Chibi. This time, one of our frequent viewers, SarahQuilt, and Studio Mikarts supporter, her Gmom, who passed away last year. I believe this will be a memorial Chibi for her and Gmom. I have some lovely reference images of her from Sarah's wedding, which I got to attend. I still remember it was quite lovely. So I have this beautiful picture, professional photography, and Gmom is dressed to the nines, so this is going to be a really nice Chibi caricature, I think. Not as much praising like myself, but that I have some great material to work with that makes it awesome already without me even doing anything. So I'm going to just jump right in. I've got my favorite graphite mechanical pencil. The paper I'm using, I'm actually not sure what it is. It's the last sheet of something. I can tell it was previously bound in a pad of paper. I'm not sure what it was though. There's two sheets. I think I cut them in half. But it feels like the right kind of stock. And it's the perfect size, as you can see, for my Chibi caricature. So I'm going to go ahead and use this mystery paper. So first, we're going to, actually I'm going to zoom in a little bit on my reference image. Dang, I can't get the full body in. It's either too small or too big. Well, I'll have it smaller than, I guess. How do I tell it to fit? Zoom to fit. There we go. Okay. So this picture has Gmom walking down the aisle at Sarah's wedding. So it's a very literally straightforward image because she's facing straight forward toward the camera. And I don't remember, but she seems very tall. I was only there. I only met her the once. And so I don't remember, but in all the reference images that Sarah sent me for this, she seems very tall to me. So I'm going to make the body a little longer than I might otherwise for a Chibi. Just to try and capture that tallness. And her right leg, left to me, is coming forward, taking a step. So we'll have that one like that. And we can't even see the other leg because it's covered by the hem of the dress. And therefore the other arm, the opposite arm, is swinging forward. And the other arm is swinging back, so it's also covered by the dress on the side. You'll have to excuse me, I will probably be sniffing my nose a lot more than usual today because for some reason my allergies are just terrible. I don't know why they're so bad today. I've been using a lot of tissues today. Okay, so now we're gonna get her big Chibi head in, and with all Chibis, we gotta put the eye line way lower than it would normally be. She's facing straight toward the camera, so this midline will be right in the middle. Actually, I think this is more like the middle. So let's erase that other one so I don't get confused with my teeny tiny Tombow Zero. I think that's what this is called. Yeah, Tombow Mono Zero. Or Mono Zero? It's a Japanese brand, so I don't know if it's meant to be mono, which in Japanese means object or thing, like a physical thing. Probably has other meanings too, but that's the most common one that I know. Or if it's supposed to be mono, like, what is that, Greek? Meaning one? Greek or whatever, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean, maybe. You might know what I mean. Okay. Actually, I just realized her head is a bit tilted. I do have another reference image that is a close-up on just her face, like a portrait photo from the wedding that I was going to use to get her eyes, to get the details for her eyes. But in this walking photo, she's actually not so straight on as I've drawn this. I'm going to redraw these. So it makes it a little bit more interesting to have her head tilted a little bit. Zoom back in on the full body reference to get that head tilt. It's pretty subtle, but it's something like this. Anyway, needed eraser to lighten up this. This line came out really dark, and we do not need a guideline to be so heavy. So I can just tap this on the page to pull up some of that graphite. There we go. That's better. That's better. So we've got that, and that means her head also tilts on this axis because it's, you know, the face isn't tilting, the whole head is tilting. So I'm going to adjust the circle a little bit too. So she has a longer face, so we're going to make the Chibi a little bit longer head too. Of course, generally it's just going to be this standard Chibi proportions and shape. But these little small adjustments is what helps me depict the individual and not just a Chibi grandma. No, this is specifically Sarah's Gmom. Okay. I gotta just sweep all of this eraser into the trash with my trusty swipey brush. Ah, that looks much better. Now I want my ruler. Ah, where's my ruler? Here it is. I want to measure from each side of the face. Make sure that we've got this. Yeah, one side is way bigger. So let's make the other side bigger because I like the big Chibi heads. So we've got, goes out from 3 almost to 6 centimeters. So let's take this side of the head out almost to 0 centimeters. I honestly never thought I'd use rulers so much in my work. I mean, I don't use it all the time or anything. I've seen artists who use all kinds of different ruling devices, not just straight edges, but others, curves and stuff. Just, that's almost all of their lines are formed by all these different things. I don't create in that way, but It's still more than I expected. Having a ruler in my standard drawing kit is something that I appreciate, is a surprise to me. Still a surprise to me. And it's thanks to my formal arts education that I learned ways to use these tools. I don't necessarily do the things I did in school, like draw still lives and stuff like that, trying to get it really accurate. But the skills still became something in my mental toolbox that I was able to apply to the kind of art that I want to make. 'Cause sorry, still lives of random stuff is not the kind of art I want to make. It doesn't hold any interest to me whatsoever. Okay. I think, even though it is chibi, I'm going to raise this eye line a little bit just because it makes it look like she's looking down. I want it to be lower because that makes it look cuter. But that seems a little bit too low, so let's move it up just a tad bit. And now, let's add lines to, so let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, so about here and about here is where the midpoint of the eyes should go. And it's going to look a bit creepy for a while, but I'm going to add big circles to represent the eyes. So it makes it look like some, kind of looks like the cat from Trigun this time. So just big creepy circles to mark out where the eyes go. And then, let's see, I'll leave that actually so I can have the smile. Her smile. Of course, all the proportions for the face are changed for the sake of the chibi, so I'm trying to get the shapes that I'm seeing, but put them in the proportion that works for chibi. Gmom actually seems to have had really cool longer canine teeth, at least on one side it looks like. So that's really fun actually, because we can give her one of those cute anime tropes, and it's true to life where you have the character with a little extra canine tooth, like extra long canine tooth. They're gonna give to Gmom. Still looks super creepy. Looks like a creepy robot, but we're just gonna keep adding the details and it will start coming together. We've got her big smile. And I think next I'll start adding details to the body. Then we'll come back to the head. Oops, I pressed the next button on my image viewer. What I wanted to do was drag the image. Alright, she's got a ruffly lace bolero on. So get those lacy bits in. And it comes all the way down to her wrists, covering her wrists. Not sure how I'm gonna depict the lace. Probably just using colored pencil. That's a later problem. I definitely won't depict it using ink because that's not delicate enough. We need a nice, delicate material. Okay, so now we'll add the dress, and we can add a little bit more to the lacy ruffles later. Oh, Sarah's here! Yay! I started on your Gmom, Chibi. Oh, wow! Your first housewarming guests. Well, hopefully they will be warming your house and not cooling it, as far as the warmth of friends and family and love goes. But so you got to clean up for that. Okay. I will try to make this an entertaining stream for you while you do your cleaning. I'm doing pretty good so far at not drawing too hard. When I've been erasing stuff, it's been erasing. Sometimes I draw really hard and then it's like, it won't erase anymore. Alright, the dress comes down in the front and then there's a piece behind. So there's 2 V's here. And then it's got several sparkly buttons. I think for the Chibi we're going to have to reduce it down to 3 buttons, since that's what fits. Then it's almost like a waistcoat kind of shape. And it comes out like this. And we've got a lot of fabric. I think it's called ruching. Could be wrong though. I'm not an expert. I am no expert. But there's all these wrinkles happening where the fabric is overlapping itself. Then we've got the smooth outside of the dress. Her hand is in front of the dress on this side, so her little chibi hand will be visible there. And now we can scroll down, it'll zoom out a little bit, and add the skirt of the dress. Yeah! I thought this picture was great that you sent that had all of the whole outfit visible and well lit. It looks like maybe the camera had a flash on it. So it's really nicely lit and I can see everything. As I said earlier, she's dressed to the nines, so I think it's like really nice for this. Okay. Comes the skirt. It mostly falls straight down. And there's a wrinkle, big wrinkle here. Not wrinkle. I mean, it is a wrinkle. So it's a fold of cloth, and then as her foot is coming out, it's folding over there, and then there's a fold there. Now I'm going to clean up in this area a little bit because it's hard for me to tell what's going on since I don't need these guide sketches anymore. I just need to depict her foot sticking out from under the dress on the side where she's taking the step forward. I'm picking up all the eraser crumbles. Or trying. I don't always get them all, but I think I got most of them. Okay. Now, to add this, wait, let me zoom in. The feet are always the tiniest part on the Chibi, so I can't really depict the details of the shoe, but you can try to get the shape right. Have a space for the color. I mean, I could exaggerate it a little bit and have the foot look like it's turning up even more than in the photo. Ugh, it's hard because it's so small. Well, maybe I'll adjust this side a little bit. Yeah, I can't really, it's too small. If I try to pack in that visual detail, it just looks like nothing. So I'll just keep it simple. We'll just keep it simple. Simplified chibi foot. Although that bothers me because it doesn't fit right with the angle of the rest of the body. Okay, I'm gonna get this foot. If it's the last thing I do. Okay, there's the bottom. Here's the toe. And here's the toe cap. Okay, I think that works better. Ah, and this edge needs to come down on the dress more. I have it curving up, but actually that's not what's going on in the reference. It's curving in, but also down, not up. Let me see where, okay. Maybe I should bring this up higher. Nope, it's pretty low on the dress. Maybe I just don't need to depict all the wrinkles using ink. I can depict more using marker and colored pencil later and keep it more subtle. These are the two main ones that I see. They're really sharply defined, so I think defining them with ink is appropriate. Okay, I'm going to come back up and work more on this lacy bolero. So there's more we can do to show that it is lacy. Or at least that it's frilly, not the lacy part, the frilly part. And the final thing is her necklace, which we'll definitely have to simplify because we only have this tiny little space to add it in. So I guess I'll just pick this bottom part. Just a few jewels at her neck is what I'll do. And that way we're not trying to fit something in that just won't work with this really, really small amount of space we have to work in. I'm going to redo the frills on this side. They're a little bit too involved. Simplify it. bring this part out. All right, sweet. Sweet. Okay, I think her outfit is done. So pretty much the body is done. Ooh, though now I'm looking at it, this wrinkle needs to go farther over to the left. It's almost touching the left edge of the dress. Okay, now back onto the head. I'm gonna get the chibi features in, like the fairly standard chibi jawline. Fairly standard ears after that. Like the jawline is not even. This line is like this. It should be like that. Ah, yes, it's not. Okay. Bring it down like that. There. That's better. And then the ears, which will be covered up partially by her hair. And now we'll add the hair. Seems to be parted over here. It's short and curly. Here's just covering up the ears. You're getting her hair done. That's really nice of you, everything you did for her. It's nice to have someone to take care of you like that when you need help, when you can't do it for yourself. Her hair looks very nice in this photo. It's wedding quality hair for sure. Now I'm gonna erase the guideline for the top of the head and then see if her hair looks big enough for the chibi, big enough proportions for the chibi. It's fairly close cropped in the reference image, but that doesn't necessarily translate to the chibi. So oops. I was trying to grab my pencil, but I grabbed the eraser, so I wasn't exactly looking at where I was grabbing. I was just kind of thinking, oh, it was about here. Now I'm just looking at little details I can capture. So I don't need to draw every single piece of hair, but if I can capture a few standout areas, then I can get the overall vibe of the hair in there, but still keep it simple for the style, the chibi style. Pretty good. So now I'm gonna add the eyes so that she doesn't look like a creepy 90s cartoon. Creepy 90s cartoon. And so for that, I will go to this portrait photo where it focuses right on her face. It's even, you can't even see the necklace well. That's how closely focused it is. Of course, her eyes are going to be way bigger than they are in the photo because that's Chibi. But I am making them smaller than I might in another Chibi because her eyes seem smaller set in her face than I've seen with other people. So I'm trying to get that unique aspect so that it will hopefully be recognizable as her by the time I'm done. Removing that guideline in the middle instantly helps in making it look less creepy. It's still pretty creepy looking with no pupils or anything, but we're getting there. No eyebrows yet either. That's just how it is when you're creating something from nothing. erase all these guidelines because there's going to be a lot of detail to add around her eyes, and I don't want to get confused about what was just a guideline and what is actually part of what makes Gmom look like Gmom. Not done. Keep thinking I'm done erasing, and I'm like, well, no. No, I'm gonna erase this. Here's another one. I missed that, etc. Recently, I've been working on rewriting my artist statement using the book Art-Write, and it's having me write in detail. It has all these questions that I'm answering, and it's really fun to describe what I do, say for my chibis, in such detail, in words, in written words, because I never really explained it in a sort of chronological way. Like, one of the things I wrote about today was, let's see, I think the question was, how did you choose this project or something like that? And so I was like, chibi caricatures. Well, it's because I got into otaku fandom, and there's official and fan art chibis everywhere. And then the first time I ever drew a chibi, I followed a tutorial from a fan artist online. And like, I've never really, I mean, I know this stuff, obviously, but I've never put it in order and written it down like that. So it's really, I feel excited making one after writing about that this morning. Oh, Sarah, let's see, we tried to get a portrait of every guest. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I have the one you sent me. That is nice. And then it ends up being nice for other things too, just to have a good picture of someone. So many people don't want me to, I take pictures of everything, and I know it kind of irks some people because they're like, I don't want any pictures of me because they don't like how they look in pictures or something. But I'm like, I want to remember this moment. Whether it's a picture or not, I'm seeing your face right now. So please let me remember this. In 10 years, 20 years, let's take a picture together. People let me take their pictures, so I'm not complaining. It's just a thing that I always encounter. I've always thought that was interesting, though, how people don't want their picture taken, but it's like, I'm seeing how you look right now, so there's nothing to be embarrassed about because it's only showing exactly what I'm already seeing. Oh. Yep, that's what I hear every time, is people judging themselves every time they say, when they like have this ugh kind of aura around them when I whip out my camera. They're like, oh no, here she goes. And they don't want to see themselves because they don't have as high opinion of themselves as I do. But I can't control that. And if someone really doesn't want me to take their picture, then I won't. But it makes me sad. I'm just, let's see, trying to refine what we've got going on here with the positioning of all these facial features. Okay. I feel like I've got him in better line now. I feel like the people who would be in such a documentary actually don't care about their photo being taken. Yeah, I gotta get a good one. It does amuse me. I mean, I don't think it's cool at all, people committing crimes and hurting other people, whether it's some small thing or a bigger thing, but it is funny when you see a mugshot and the person is all smiling like it's a normal photo. Most mugshots, people look defiant or just sort of dead inside. But occasionally you get this, and it doesn't even necessarily look like they're kind of a psycho smile. It's just like a, well, this happened kind of smile. Okay. Back to work on the eyes. Zooming in. So what I wanted to do is get all of the lines on the face right here in this area, and then I'll add the pupils in. Yeah, admittedly, I was never a fan of school pictures day at school, but I am a fan of taking photos whenever my family gathers. I wasn't really a fan of getting family photos done at Walmart or at Sears or wherever. That was like the thing to do in the 80s and 90s. But on the other hand, it is really nice, those professional photos that we have, and I'm looking back on them now, 20, 30 years later. Oh yeah, that's another category I see. The red and puffy from crying, from being so embarrassed or worried. I'm going to simplify some of these lines. Again, because it's a chibi, so that's just the nature of this kind of caricature. I think it's better to highlight the outside of the lines underneath the eyes. Yeah, I don't do crimes. Right? Yep, that's how I'd be too. I'd be like, what? What is even happening? Of course, I might smile because I'm like, I know I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, we need to add some eyebrows too. Oh, and her glasses are going to go on as well. We'll have to make the glasses bigger. Maybe I'll wait to do the eyebrows until I do the glasses, actually. So, and it'll probably be better to wait to do the pupils and the irises as well. Alright, so we'll have the end point be about here and here, and then the middle part. Well, this is the center. Wait, am I measuring though? Is that the center? 1, 2.5, 1, 2. Oh, it is. Okay, so this is the center. Alright, we're going to make the glasses way bigger than they are in life because we don't want to block the cute chibi eyes. The eyes is the main focal point of not just chibis, but this sort of anime style art. Japanese pop culture style art. I've been using that term a lot recently, working on my artist statement. I was already aware, but writing about my art in order to craft the new artist statement is really driving home how much everything about where I am right now is thanks to my otaku geek passions. So, like, definitely I point out British fantasy a lot too. British fantasy and Japanese pop culture are the two main ones. There's other inspirations too, you know, like Star Wars and stuff, Disney. But those are the two big ones. Those are the ones that really got me to where I am now. It made me want to tell stories that hopefully will affect others the same way that I have been affected. Is this the same height? 1.5-ish. Yeah, it's about the same height. Sweet. Not aiming for perfection, but a little bit of consistency is good. A little too sketchy. This one's curving in a little bit more than the other one, so I'm going to change it. Change that part. We'll be able to do some cool stuff with white ink and or Photoshop, depending on what seems good at the time. But just adding some highlights on the glasses themselves to show that the glass is in the glasses. They're not just framed, there's actual glass doing some work in there. Well, we'll say lenses because they could be plastic. Lenses are made with plastic too. Love this Tombow mono eraser. How tiny it is. Can erase the teeny tiniest little things. Nice. It's looking more and more like her. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. There's a little bit of metal, it looks like, at the beginning of where the... Some people call them arms, some people call them legs. I've heard them called stems. The stems of the glasses come out. I want this to be a little smoother. Keep changing this corner. There. Now let's add some eyebrows. Seem to have tapering eyebrows. should bring them back in. This one should come in too. Okay, got 3 minutes until break time, which seems great for adding irises and pupils. Yay! I think that's good. Oh, I just realized my main camera has frozen again. I don't know what the deal is. I'll get that going again. And then it'll be basically break time. What I've found is I need to deactivate it and then activate it. Usually I need to do it twice, but I'm going to give it a second. See if maybe it'll come back. Nope, so we'll deactivate again. See if this works. And activate again. Yeah, I don't know why that works. I guess it doesn't help not knowing why it fails in the first place. Here's a little zoom in look at Chibi Gmom. So we're going to go on break, so I thought it would be nice to show what we've done so far. It's like rebooting the system. Yeah, it's like feels like the first deactivate is turning it off. Then you activate and it doesn't turn it on, and then you deactivate, and then the second activate is finally turns it on. Whew, I hope they get some firmware update or something to fix that. Anyway, it is exactly break time now. So I encourage everyone to take this opportunity to stretch and refresh, which is what I will be doing. I'm going to put my be right back sign on, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Hello everyone, I'm back. Time to get to work on this Chibi, and we're ready to start with inking. Oh, I also hope that you had a great break. Forgot that part of my greeting. So I am happy with how this is looking. We will need erasers later, so I'll leave those out, but I don't think I need this ruler anymore. I don't need my pencil anymore, probably. So I'll put that away, and we'll get out my lovely set of Sakura Pigma pens in 10 different sizes. I always like to start with my biggest one and do a big outline around the whole Chibi. I've always said I like to do this because it makes it look like a sticker. It makes it look like it's supposed to exist like this without any background or any other supporting elements. And I feel like it's working because on DeviantArt, when I submit these, it has an AI thing that analyzes your image and suggests tags for it, and it often chooses sticker. And I haven't written anything in the description or anything. It's just looking at the image itself. I always do my inking a little bit different every time just because I forget different things and then I have to deal with it later. But this time I am remembering that when I erase, it erases the ink too. So I'm not going to worry very much about doing final ink lines. I just want to get the main idea inked, and then we're going to erase, and that will lighten all the ink up, and then I'm going to bring more ink in to darken it back up. So I think I shall just use this size 02, which is pretty small. Look at that teeny tiny little nib. And I'm going to ink everything with this and then come back after I've erased. I've been thinking once I use up all these extra bits of paper that I've been working through with these Chibis for years now. I've worked through 2 pads of paper, and this is one of 2 random bits of paper that were obviously in a pad at some point, but I have no idea why they're not, and I don't know where they came from. But after this, I want to start using the tracing technique using my little light pad, and then I won't have to do erasing, and I won't have to worry about that. But for now, I'm sticking with the tried and true. Of course, the light pad is tried and true too. That's why I want to move to it. But anyway. It's not just a case of trace the graphite lines. There are some areas where I use a simple line with the pencil, knowing that I would need to do something a little bit more. with the ink, such as what I just did with the eyebrow. So I've got to stay on my toes here as I ink this. The bottom jawline. Then we'll move on to the body. Ooh! Yeah, I was focusing hard. Sorry about that. I try to keep it going. So that if anybody's listening or if anybody pops in who wasn't here from the beginning, you know, then they'll know that this is a friendly stream where people are welcome and stuff. But sometimes all of the brain power has to focus on the one thing. So that is done. And we can now erase. First pass of erasing using the kneaded eraser. I like to use this for a couple reasons. One, it's a little bit more gentle on the paper, I find. And two, it allows me to easily erase the whole page and get any stray graphite that I spread around as I was sketching. There's a lot of smaller lines still in the body. Okay, I think that's good for the kneaded eraser. So let me put this away. I love this one because it comes with a little case. Helps it last as long as possible because it keeps it safe from drying out too quickly and from getting dirt and dust and hairs and stuff in it. Alright, that's not all for erasing though. Let's see, what'll I use? I think I'll use my tiny one. I love this tiny one. It's my favorite eraser. I wouldn't want to only have this as an eraser, but I love having it as an option and I end up using it more than any other eraser. It's great, it's refillable, so there's a little less plastic waste from using it. So now I'm just getting any little last bits of graphite. If I can, some of it might be embedded too hard into the paper, too firmly into the paper and not able to come out anymore, but I'm getting quite a bit right now, so it's looking pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to erase. I'm going to swipe the eraser stuff into the trash can and then look at it without all of that distraction. Okay, I think I got it all. See if there's any last little places that might benefit from some extra work. And it's hard to tell. Is this a line that I missed during the last pass, or is this one that just wasn't erasing? Okay, that should be good. Right? That's exactly what it is. Microplastics. Because I'm pretty sure microplastics have an official definition and it's a certain size, and I'm pretty sure all that eraser bit stuff counts. And these white erasers, this is all This stuff is all plastic. That's why I don't bother trying to aim for zero plastic. I know a lot of people are obsessed with living a zero plastic life, but it's not impossible, but it's extremely difficult, especially if you still want to partake in sort of everyday life that most people enjoy. So what I do is just try to reduce as much as possible, but then accept that I am alive and I am going to have some impact, and I'll try to make it as positive as possible. But some things I'm just going to be selfish, like my erasers, and continue to use them. I think that's a pretty small one compared to some of the other things that I could choose to do. All right, now I am going to refine these lines like what I said, adding more ink, more details, and bringing back some of the darkness in the lines that got erased. Something cool that I do, speaking of like trying to reduce one's negative impact on the environment, I use this app called Climate Games, and it uses your workout data. You have a little subscription. It uses your workout data, so it encourages you to work out, and then at the same time, what the subscription is choosing how much of certain projects you want your workout data to contribute to. So it's got reducing carbon out of the air, literally cleaning it out of the air, and planting trees, and collecting plastic out of the ocean. And once you've reached your target goal in one, using your workout data, it'll start working on your target goal in the next category. So it's sort of like personal offset, and also encouraging you to stay fit and keep yourself healthy too. So I quite enjoy using that. I actually recently upped my subscription level on it because I like it so much. Because I always work out anyway, so may as well have that be something that contributes to something good. And they are using all these verified, what is it called? Sources? Verified projects, so it's not just, at least it doesn't seem to me like some scam. And then it makes me feel good about my workouts, because now my workouts aren't just helping me, it's helping the environment a little bit. It's helping offset those things that I'm not willing to give up, like the plastic in the ocean is helping a little bit because I love these plastic erasers. I think I'm mostly gonna keep her hair with this really light ink, and I'll use like maybe, actually I don't even know if I don't think it needs anything else with ink, because she has light colored hair, so I don't need dark black ink defining it. I will use the markers and colored pencils to do that. But let's add a little bit more ink to the glasses and the eyes. Well, there is another app I heard of recently. Oh, what was it? Now that I've done a little blurb about climate games, what was it? There was a different similar app, but instead of for your workouts, it was for shopping. And by doing certain shopping choices, tracking it through the app, you actually earn rewards. And so let's see. I heard about it from Happy Cow, so I want to see if I can find it that way. Oh, I'm not seeing it. Sad. Oh, what was it? It was like Happy Cow app offset carbon or something like that. "13 amazing apps to help you become a something. A sustainable superstar." Maybe the app is on it. If I don't see it on this article, then I'll give up. Okay. Oh well. There was definitely an app for it. I guess the point is there are ways to offset your carbon footprint or your plastic impact through other apps. So if you're not interested in a fitness angle, there's other ones that exist. It's like on the one hand, what really needs to change is corporations and governments. They're the ones doing the worst things. But on the other hand, we don't really have control over that. We only really have control over what we do. We can vote either in the political system or with our money, which is something I feel really proud of when I think of it. Sometimes it feels like I can't do anything to help animals. But then I remember, oh, I'm voting every time I eat and I choose vegan. I am voting to help the animals. And so that's another thing too, is that we, even though it seems like a drop in the bucket, there are how many billions of drops in the bucket of humanity? And if enough drops come together and say, we want it to be different, then the governments and corporations will have to follow our example. So that's why, even though maybe it's not making a huge difference in the grand scheme of things, I'm really happy about that Climate Games app and being able to... I think I'm just paying like $10 a month or something to offset my negative impact. I think I gotta use a slightly bigger pen. The line is looking a little choppy. I want it to be smoother for the glasses. That's better. Glasses are such a big thing. I don't want to just rim them with a big line and call it done. I'm going to put a little bit of subtlety into how I craft these outlines. I've got the thickest line on the bottom edge of the glasses. And then I did thicken up the lines all around the whole thing so that they will stand forward from the face, but also helps give a sense of gravity on the underside of the glasses to make it thicker there. So now I want to do a little bit more work on the eyes. Leave the lines that are defining lines in the face, but I'm going to add a little bit more to the eyelashes. Help differentiate which is which. And also just because it looks nice. How do you do brownies or cookies without eggs? Ooh, great question. It's really easy. My favorite thing, if I want just a simple swap, is Bob's Red Mill egg replacer. It's perfect. It's so easy too, because then you don't have to worry about the eggs expiring or going bad. You just scoop this powder, mix it with a little water, and it works just as good. Plus, no cholesterol, since like I always say, there's no cholesterol in plant foods, period. It's only in animal foods, so it makes your cookies inherently healthier. Another thing that's really common that people like to use is ground up flax seed. It can change the flavor a little bit, but personally I think it's yummy because it adds a little kind of nutty flavor because it's a seed. So that's another one that people do. Just ground up flax seed with water. You can look up the ratio online if you're interested. And the Bob's Red Mill is not the only baking egg replacer. There's lots and lots of them, but that's the one I like. It's easy for me to get, works really well, lasts forever. It's just a shelf-stable powder you keep in the pantry. So that's how I do it. I love cooking from cookbooks though, so I've seen all kinds of different things. It depends, like for pancakes, for instance, the way I would make them, growing up is add an egg. Well, I love banana pancakes, and it turns out a banana can be a substitute for an egg. So you don't even have to change anything. You're just making banana pancakes, and you don't even need any egg for it. Ah, you're making brownies and was just wondering. Yep, that Bob's Red Mill. It's inexpensive, easy to come by. That's the thing I recommend the most. But flax seeds are also really healthy for you. I think the Bob's Red Mill might actually have a little bit of it, but theirs is like a mixture of like chickpea powder and a bunch of other little powders to get that. I think it's a leavening effect, or is it a binding effect? I'm not a baking expert. I just love baking from a recipe. I think it's a binding effect that you're looking for. So yeah, if you ever try it, you can let me know what you think. The Bob's Red Mill is great because it doesn't change the flavor or consistency or anything. No one would ever know if you didn't tell them. Okay, I just want to add a little bit more ink to the smile, and then we'll be done and we can start working on the coloring. Always like adding a little bit extra ink in the corners of the mouth. That's an anime thing that I noticed when I first got really into fan art and was copying images, but it comes from life though, because your teeth don't go all the way out to your cheeks, especially your teeth don't spread out with your cheeks when you smile. When you smile, you're spreading your cheeks like you're pulling your face apart. And that sounds so horrible. But anyway, that leaves that little gap there. So that's why I've always liked putting that little bit of extra ink there in the corners of the mouth. Ooh, let's do the pupils. So I'm going to do one pass and then I'll do another one, because what I've found is that the ink soaks into the paper and then it doesn't look as dark as it can. So if I do one, let it dry, and then do another one, the next batch of ink helps dye any remaining paper fibers. Yeah, only not creepy. That's what it is, though. So that's what's going on with Predator. Predator is just smiling, and everybody runs away, and then Predator feels sad, and then feels no choice but to kill you. I've never actually seen that movie because I don't like scary stuff. But it's one of those cultural things where I know enough about it. I've seen it. I know what you're talking about when you say Predator. Oh, it's rough to rewatch. Tell me why. Why exactly is it rough? Well, if you're hearing a little snoring, my little dog Chappie is snoring right now. Now I'm just refining the edges of the pupils, trying to make them as round as possible. Sometimes I go a little overboard and then it ends up being too much and I have to keep making each pupil bigger and bigger. I'll try not to do that, but also trying to make sure they look about the same size. Oh, it's probably close enough though. Okay. Now we're done with ink. We're done with erasers, so I can put this away too. At least we're done with ink for now. I'll definitely be coming back at the end to put my signature on it. I'm gonna get my Copic swatch book out, start coloring. We're making really good progress on this Chibi. A lot of the time, I feel good if I get to this point by the end of the stream, and we still have 20 minutes. Oh, it's dated. Yeah. That is rough. I just don't watch stuff like that anymore. You know, like Disney's Peter Pan. Just straight up don't watch it. I'm like, I don't like this. I didn't like it when I was a kid, because as a kid, it was just confusing. The whole, I don't even want to mention because it's so bad. I can't believe they still sell the movie or anything from it because it's so racist. It's the worst. It's probably the worst depiction I've seen in a kid's movie, especially a popular one. And so anyway, I'm like, I don't even want anything to do with Peter Pan anymore. I'm an adult and I understand now the many reasons why that always bothered me, and I don't have to accept it. So yeah, I always thought that Tinkerbell was like a sub-villain when I watched it as a kid. I'm like, why is she so popular? Because she's terrible. Oh, yeah, I'd say don't even watch it. You don't need that floating around in your head. It's like, it's made for kids, but it's still so disturbing to me that I think of it. And it just, like, how is this a kid's movie? How is this still in circulation? How are they getting away with this? It's so bad. I mean, you can watch it. You can do whatever you want, but I don't recommend it personally. Okay, so we're gonna color from light to dark. The lightest thing is definitely her jewels and her lacy bolero. And these both have a fairly cool tone, but maybe not this bordering on blue. This is maybe a little too cool. So maybe we'll go to this neutral gray, and they're so bright. I'm actually going to start with the lightest color, which is N0. We'll see if we can get the base colors on today. The flat color, the base color. Yeah, maybe your mind was like, huh, that's not a good thing. I will not remember it. It really is mind-boggling that they're getting away with it, though. Especially in today's climate, you'd think that there would be protests against DVDs and Blu-rays of the movie being sold, against it being available for streaming. I think what they do for it for streaming is there's a little warning, like on Disney Plus. I think there's a warning saying this depicts scenes that are inappropriate, but they're still making money off of it, so that little message in the front doesn't mean anything to me. If they really cared, they would stop selling it. Oh well. Let's see. So we've got her jewels and her bolero done, so the next lightest thing I think is her skin. So she definitely has some pink tones in it, but I also see, it feels like it's hard. Certain areas, because of course human skin is all kinds of different colors in a single individual. Overall though, I feel like I'm seeing a little bit more yellow tone. As opposed to, because in general, lighter skin tones seem to range from a yellow to a pink. Also just look at my swatches and see what seems good. Yeah, I think I'll go with this one as the base color. E21. Yeah, it could be the lighting too. There's all kinds of things, especially with the lighter skin tones. You can see, I mean, even I can show you on myself, you can see more, you can see a lot of blue here because you can just, my skin is like translucent, so you can see the blue, but the palm of my hand is very pink, and my skin just tends towards pink, and so I've got a lot of pink and blue. This one seems like a good color though, for the base color. And then her hand on this side is visible. And a little bit of her skin is visible on the shoe. I'll just I super simplified the shoe. So this part is the visible skin. Speaking of troublesome things like Peter Pan, the name of this marker and several other marker colors I have are similarly troublesome. That's why I tend to not say them aloud. I just read the number. But I recently found, because I was looking up seeing if I could get some refills, because some of my markers are getting very, very low and dry, I saw that they have renamed these troublesome colors to neutral names. So that's good. I'm glad. I like it when people do that. I don't expect people or companies to be perfect, but I do expect them to change if it's pointed out that they are doing something hurtful. Right? Yep, that's the kind of thing. That's exactly the kind of thing. Okay, bottom part of the face is all that's left. Putting down the skin color. Dang, I was trying not to pull the marker away from the ink, but I did it and I got a little line. Oh well, can't take it back. That's the thing with physical media. You gotta just deal with it. Plus I can fix it in Photoshop later, so it's not a problem. Okay. Next slide is color, and I just got my 10-minute warning. I think it will be her hair. Zoom in on that. It's a nice, it's almost like a metallic gray because there's lighter and darker strands in it. So I guess I'll go back to my grays. Could just use the neutral gray. It actually seems like the right color. And there are some really light strands. So I guess I'll just consider it the same and use the same marker as I did for those other lighter items when I started. Now, her hair is metallic, we'll call it metallic gray because it's like silver hairs and there's darker gray hairs, but her eyebrows are brown. So let's get a brown color. Oh, this seems like a good one. E25. Do E25. This might be all I do with marker for the eyebrows. I'll probably do further details using a colored pencil because I can get that much smaller line. Just get the base color in for that using the marker. Alright, next. Oh, her teeth. Her teeth are definitely a warmer shade, so I'm going to go to warm gray. I guess I'll start with 0, W0, warm gray 0. That's all we'll do for that, for the base layer. Didn't color the whole thing in. I'm going to leave some white to be a nice highlight just by leaving the paper. Let's see, we've got 6 minutes. Let's tackle the dress. It's a very vibrant blue. I only have certain options. Oh, this one seems really close to this one. B24. I can't quite match all colors perfectly because I only have the limited number of markers. I have quite a few markers, but it's still sometimes just have to choose an adjacent color, something close enough. This one looks pretty good though, now that I'm getting it down. I'm going to use the larger chisel tip to fill in the skirt. Couple little spots I couldn't get, so I'm just gonna do a little dab with the bullet tip. Okay, got the blue in there. Her shoe actually seems to be a similar gray. I guess I'll double check, but I think we might be able to use one or the other gray that we're already using. Neutral gray? Well, neutral gray, I'm going to hold it up to my screen. Neutral gray or toner gray? Might actually want to use a different one. Neutral gray. Neutral gray matches better with the blue. So let's just make the shoe the same color. I'll just put this N0 on it, even though it's a darker color overall compared to the other things I'm using this N0 on, but we'll just get some color on the page. So now, yeah, with only 3 minutes, I don't want to rush, so I don't think I'm going to be able to finish base color today, but we'll see where we can get. Her lenses are a tortoise shell pattern. So I'm going to look at what is the lightest color there, and that will be the base color, and then I'll add more. Maybe something like this is the lightest thing I'm seeing. Maybe even this light, actually. Yeah, let's start with E31. E31. The outside has got gold, so I'll leave that. Pick a more yellow color for that. Base color done there. And we've got seconds left, so I will just use those to give you a close-up view of how it's looking so far. Oh, the lamp is lighting it unevenly. There, that's better. Here's how far we got on Sarah's Gmom Chibi today. Pretty good. Almost all of the flat color. We got the lines done and the sketch before that. Not bad. Ooh, I can even bring this camera even lower. There we go. All right, everyone. That is it for today's stream. I want to thank you for spending your time with me today and for everything you do to support Studio Mikarts and my work. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe on Twitch, or subscribe, yes, but please follow. Follow doesn't require any money. Please follow on Twitch so that you'll get notified next time I go live. You can also support me by subscribing on Twitch, which will take away ads and also get you cute emotes to use all over Twitch. Or you can join my Patreon for lovely illustrated goodies in the mail, or just send some creative fuel through Buy Me a Coffee. All of these links are in my Twitch About section and in the YouTube description if you're watching the recording. I'll be back next week on Tuesday, same time as usual. Please check my schedule to see what time that is for you. Working on my illustration project, Onomatopoeia Bees. So I hope to see you then. But either way, let me wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for watching.